Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from evidence of conspiracies you've never heard of to clips of cryptids you never even knew were out there. Ready to have your mind blown? Well, let's dive in. When you are exploring the woods, there are sounds you expect to hear. This can include birds singing and leaves rustling in the wind. Knocks, on the other hand, are not the typical things to expect when in the woods. The clip you're watching was, however, recorded because a cyclist kept hearing knocks while riding through the woods. This strange phenomenon caused him to stop and look around. He had his camera rolling just in case he captured something interesting. After looking around, he thought he saw something, but wasn't really sure because of how it looked. Take a good look. Do you see it? There's some sort of shadow in the distance. Yeah, that. He shared the clip online, hoping someone could help him identify it. As always, the community did not hesitate, and a majority came to the same conclusion. He had encountered a shadow person. Some members of the community pointed out that the knocks he heard were actually being made by the shadow being intentionally. It turns out they normally do this to make people stay away. If this is true, I wonder what the creature would have done had the cyclist gotten any closer. Anyway, what do you think of this hypothesis? Do you have a better theory, or have you experienced anything similar? Kindly share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section.
Here it is, the light turned on. You see that?
Stepping away from the woods, we move on in Denver, Colorado, where something unusual has been spotted in the night sky. Take a good look.
Watch, it's gonna start looking like it's dropping something out of it.
That's not normal, is it? Clouds don't light up and they don't dim after a while. That's not possible. Or rather, well, I've never seen a cloud do that myself. Someone in the office suggested it might be light passing through the cloud, but even if that were true, where is the light coming from? Even the sun's rays don't go through clouds that strongly. This has got the whole team thinking and coming up with theories. Some thought it might be a satellite instead, others thought it was a drone, and then Julius said something I never thought I would hear him say. It's an alien ship. Oh, my ears couldn't believe what they heard, and my neck went up almost immediately to make sure it was really Julius speaking. But no, Julius was smirking. He'd made the whole thing up because he's a sarcastic asshole. I knew there was no hope. So one thing we're certain about is this: Julius is never going to become a believer, but what we really need to be certain about right now is the true identity of that light-shooting cloud. Can any of you help?
What the man? Watch, it's gonna start looking like it's dropping something out of it. That's weird, man. Here it is, the light turned on. You see that? What the man?
It's an alien ship. But then I realized it was just Julius being an Hey Julius, stop being an There's no hope.
Next, we visit Argentina, where something unusual has been spotted and recorded. Take a good look. What do you think this is? To provide a bit of context, this was filmed by the owner of the farm. It was a normal day like any other when he noticed something or someone moving through his fields. There were no workers or neighbors around that day, so seeing someone there took him by surprise. He became even more surprised as he recorded because whatever that was appeared to have fur, although walking upright. They didn't have any local animals that behaved like that or fit the description, and he didn't live near any zoo, so he could tell himself an animal had escaped. After recording enough footage, he uploaded his encounter online, and many had differing opinions. When the American paranormal community saw this, they didn't hesitate to state it was a Bigfoot. But that just left them scratching their heads. How did Bigfoot get there? There'd be no official documented Bigfoot cases there, meaning any Bigfoot there should somehow have come from North America. This led to more scrutiny of the clip, with some stating that it was most definitely someone running across the field wearing a poncho. Take a good look at the clip and share your thoughts as well. Next, we got a clip that appears to have been recorded by the home security system of the man you see in the clip. The clip doesn't tell us much, but it appears his property has been disturbed by something unfamiliar to him, so being the responsible person that he is, he steps out and then starts looking around. From the clip we can see he finds nothing, but his camera does capture whatever it is that might have been responsible for the disturbance, and it's not human or living for that matter. It appears to be some sort of sentient cloud moving around on the property. When the paranormal community saw this, their reaction was simple. Ghosts are synonymous with clouds for a reason. This reason to them is how they look when they become visible on our plane. We've had a lot of ghost clips on this channel, but I'm not particularly sure about this one. What do you guys make of it? While you share your thoughts on that, take a good look at this photograph as well. The owner of the photo shared a pretty eerie story. According to him, earlier this year he was involved in a car accident caused by a 4x4 that made an illegal U-turn and ran into him. He was driving with his partner in the passenger seat, and thankfully they were both fine. With both hands shaking, he still managed to snap a few quick photographs of the scene. Among the many pictures he took, one picture stood out. It was the clearest shot, but also the strangest. Standing by the driver's side door was a figure that looked exactly like their grandfather, who had passed away when they were 12. He assumed he was just seeing things due to what they'd experienced, but after he'd shown the images to those who knew his grandpa, they agreed the resemblance was uncanny. The funny thing is, the accident happened right near a cemetery. So what are we dealing with here? A mere coincidence? An illusion created by the chaotic scene? Or something else entirely? It's hard to say, but please do share your thoughts. Stepping away from ghosts, we focus on a more disturbing reality. Kung Fu fighting robots. Sounds crazy, I know, but take a good look at the clip playing. Is there any other way to describe this? For some weird reason, the trainers aren't bothered. After everything we've seen in literature and real life concerning AI and robots, you'd think we'd be a bit careful, but no, we're teaching them all we know. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-robot and AI, but I do believe there should be some strict regulations in place. Looks like it's just a few of us who think that, though. If things keep progressing at the current rate at which they're progressing, it won't be too long before we create something we don't have any control over. Hopefully, Elon would have figured Mars out by then, and I could be on my way to the Red Planet. And before you scream the clip is AI, I scrutinized it a bit and even watched the reflections of the individuals in the glass and shadows on the ground. That's something an AI-rendered clip may struggle to consistently output. Speaking of things that could be AI edited, take a good look at this and tell me what you think. AI or real? I asked my team this same question, and Julius shouted real from the back. I almost thought he was trolling us again, but he pushed his glasses back and gave me that cool nerd look. Once he did that, we all paid attention because there was a lecture coming. According to Julius, the real reason someone can briefly touch lava without severe burns is likely due to the latent frost effect. For those hearing it for the first time, it's when a liquid comes into contact with a surface much hotter than its boiling point, causing the liquid to vaporize instantly and form a protective layer of gas. This vapor layer acts as a temporary heat shield, preventing direct contact between the skin and the lava. There's also the fact that lava is highly viscous, but this isn't a science class. If you guys are interested in learning about this kind of stuff, maybe I'll bring Julius on the next time. He also mentions that some companies use some special coating to protect their skin. So yeah, this does look wild, but it's all science, according to Julius. Moving on, we got something even Julius might not be able to explain. Now, this lady was going through her wardrobe when she noticed a duplicate of a piece of clothing that she already had. The fabric and color were the same, but she'd never bought two of the same bits of clothing. This got her thinking, and she decided to share it online. Once she did, many also shared similar experiences with evidence. They too had found duplicates, including socks and what have you that they'd never bought. As everyone was discussing their strange experience, some started pointing out that this might just be a glitch in the Matrix. To them, reality might not be as stable as we may have believed. If that's the case, then we have clothes and items slipping from parallel worlds and versions of ourselves, which is why this is happening. To them, there's a parallel version of us right now looking for their clothes. Crazy, I know, but why would you explain this?
Nothing weird about that, but then I came across this shirt, the same exact shirt in a different part of the closet. And this is not a shirt that I buy multiples of. This is like kind of a special occasion shirt. And this one has the tag that I had cut out. And this one has the tag where I had cut out.
Some people just love the thrill of doing dangerous things or putting their lives on the line. Definitely not my thing, but there are some who live for the thrill and would do it over and over again without hesitation. Take a look at this footage, for instance. Two friends decided to go exploring an abandoned house in the middle of the night, which was already a bad idea, if you ask me. They had their camera rolling, standing outside the building when they spotted something on the roof. Looking at it, you don't need to be a psychic to know that this was not human. It was a pale creature with glowing round eyes just staring down at them. It moved across the roof in a way that seemed almost deliberate, almost as though it was warning them not to come any closer. The moment the two guys noticed it, they backed away but did not leave. When the creature disappeared from the roof, curiosity got the better of them, so they went back and peeked through a broken window. But there was nothing inside. Why did they do that? Well, I've no idea, but the creature reappeared. When it appeared the second time, they all agreed that that was enough spooky stuff for one day and bolted. Now, whatever this thing was, it did not look human at all. It had a humanoid frame, but it was way too skinny, almost unnaturally long, and the way it moved was just wrong. Many people who saw the footage are convinced it was a skinwalker. The way it crawled on all fours and moved so quickly definitely fits the description, but what do you think? Take a good look at the picture and tell me you see a nun too. You do? Good. Now allow me to tell you the story behind the capture. The photo was posted on Reddit by an individual who claims it was taken by his aunt who was testing out the camera of her new phone. Judging by the way the image looks, the phone is a few years old, but I guess what you all want to know is the story behind that beautiful lady in the image. The funny thing is, when the aunt took this photograph, there was no lady in the house but herself. She was alone, which left her a bit shocked. At first, she felt she had moved her hand while taking the photograph, but that was not the case. Despite keeping her hand steady, the photos she took looked like this. She hated to admit it, but it did look like a young nun or old-time nurse dropping something on the desk. Not sure about you, but if I took a picture and saw something like this, it would freak me out. Despite uploading the image and sharing her story, many were skeptical, and rightly so, because we live in the age of AI. To prove that it was real, she allegedly had the image analyzed, and it turned out that it had not been edited. When that was made known to the community, they all concluded this had to be a real ghost. Probably it's the ghost of someone who had once lived in the building. At least that's the narrative going around. But what do you guys think? Next, we've got this clip that allegedly comes from the Indian Space Research Organization. It's all black and white, I know, but pay attention. Do you see the black thing on top of the asteroid? See it now. Well, the individual who uploaded the clip states that it's a black pyramid on top of an asteroid in space. Yeah, let that sink in a little. This was captured in 2014, and the organization refused to give any further commentaries on it. In fact, they took the video down a few days after posting it, and this copy is the only one that was downloaded before the post was taken down. The big question is, why was it taken down? Well, no one knows, but many in the conspiracy communities I've visited while doing research for this video think it's evidence that aliens are out there, and that the pyramids on our planet were built by them. Others felt it might not be a pyramid at all, but instead an asteroid with diamonds on it. They feel the organization took it down for selfish reasons. Not sure if this landed on our planet, but the narrative is that, if it did, they probably wanted to keep the location and money to be made off of the diamonds for themselves. I know these two are a bit wild, most especially the last one, but, well, why else would they take it down? Anyway, not everyone believes these theories, though. Some feel this whole thing couldn't be true and that the poster was lying. I've laid out the facts and shown you the clip, so what's your personal opinion on this one? Anytime I promise myself I won't talk about the AI and robot thing again, I come across a clip that piques my interest. Take a look at this one. Would you be okay with this? Just in case it wasn't clear enough already, they're making robots for the medical field that will and should replace doctors. There's the belief that these robots will be more accurate and more efficient than human doctors, but will they though? Well, not all are convinced. Imagine your robot doctor misunderstood the information you gave or malfunctioned while performing a sensitive operation on you. How would you come back from that? If you were right, we can't, because it would be fatal, yet scientists believe this is what we need. Is this something you'd be willing to try out? Let us know in the comments section. Have you ever lost a pet and felt their spirit was in the room with you? Well, this cat owner did lose her pet cat, Mina, and then started to notice some strange occurrences around her old cat tower. In the clip, we see her toys and objects around the tower move by themselves, and then after a while, a translucent cat walks out meowing. Some who saw this shared their own experiences, whereas a few remained skeptical. Have you or someone you know had such an experience? Care to share in the comments section.
My name is Jonna Mendez, and I was Chief of Disguise at the CIA. In my role as Chief of Disguise, my major concern was always protecting people, protecting our case officers who were going into situations that might be dangerous, but importantly, protecting the foreign people that we were meeting with, who were very often risking their lives.
Up until working on today's episode, I didn't know the CIA had an official position for a Chief of Disguise, but it turns out it's a real thing. In this interview, she talks about the kind of technology that were developed in her time with the CIA. She even showed a picture of her meeting H.W. Bush and showing him the masking technology they were developing at the time. We may have laughed at the Mission Impossible movies, but it looks like they weren't far off from the truth. If you want to check her out, her name is Jonna Mendez, and she's got over 27 years of experience in the field. One team member asked me a question, and I think I should ask you too. If these people developed serious technologies that could really disguise their agents, how sure are we that this is a real face? Well, think about that.
It was basically the masks that everybody always wondered if we used masks, and this was the beginning. This is a series of photographs of when I met George H.W. Bush in the Oval Office and revealed to him that I was briefing him wearing a mask.
Are you considering going for a stroll in the woods this weekend? If you are, then this clip is for you. A family had gone into the woods to have a little family time. After playing all the games they could, they decided to take some pictures. It was all fun and laughter until they got home and started to review the photographs. It was then they noticed that the image on your screen had someone else in it, someone who was not a member of the family. In fact, they weren't even sure if the face behind him was human or not. They felt like if there was someone stalking them and photobombing their picture, well, they would have heard him or at least seen him. None of those things occurred, and that has left them spooked. They feel this might have been a paranormal and that it could have cursed them. Many in the community sympathized with them, while some called them out for lying. Take a second look at the image and tell me what you think. Do you think this family would really make up a story just for a few minutes of fame, or was there something truly otherworldly with them that day? Speaking of otherworldly beings, what would you do when you get a call from an abandoned funeral home? Ignore it, right? What if you were the police? Before you laugh, this is a real-life situation and a story from the Pueblo, Colorado Police Department. A 911 call came in one day at 3:28 a.m., and when it was answered, nothing intelligible was heard. They could hear the person talking, but it was inaudible. After a few seconds, the call dropped. Dispatch called, and when they did, there was no answer. Fearing something could be wrong, the number was quickly traced, and it belonged to the Imperial Memorial Gardens, which was a funeral home. Police were dispatched to the place, and when they got there was no one around. They searched, but there was no one. This isn't normal, right? When the story was finally made public, many individuals suspected that it might have been a ghost. Some even scrutinized the recorded 911 call audio. A few of those who did swore they could hear the inaudible voice saying, "Help me," and send help. I tried listening but heard nothing. Maybe I'm not trained in the art, but perhaps you guys will hear it. Please listen carefully. Did you hear anything? If you did, kindly tell us what you heard in the comments section.
Bro, imagine it's like 3 a.m. in the morning and I'm doing this walk in a tunnel. Like, that is actually pretty scary to me. Can't lie, like I'm myself right now and I put my head up.
Moving on, we came across this clip of a young lady who was going through an underground tunnel. Sure, the tunnel looks nice, but that's not why we're here. She was walking through it when she noticed that there was a man behind her. Seeing as it was just the two of them in the tunnel, she began to panic. At some point in time, she felt that the man might not be human and she might not make it. She started filming as a way to protect herself just in case he was human and had ulterior motives. She kept talking to the camera till she reached the end of the tunnel. As she saw the end in sight, she breathed a huge sigh of relief. She was really going to make it out alive. The clip ends here, but we know she made it out alive. I wanted to know if the man was a real person or if it was a shadow being or something paranormal, so did a follow-up. Guess what I found? He was completely normal. He'd seen her and thought she looked cool or good. That's why he tried to catch up with her. She was also scared and felt he might be a harmful human or something else entirely. If this was a cartoon or drama, it would have made one funny scene, don't you think?
I don't want to be doing this at like 3 o'clock in the morning, bro. I'm not ready. Okay, let's go to the lift. MashaAllah, beautiful, beautiful. Did not have to wait. Bye! We made it out! Why is it best loaded? Hurry up! I'm a happy boy. Oh, Allah, what's my love?
If the previous clip sounded like a Cinderella story, this one will sound like Beauty and the Beast. She noticed while going over clips captured by his CCTV camera that there was something moving really fast in the distance. It's dark and appears to move on all fours at one point and then all twos at another. It moves so fast that it could almost look like a blur. When the clip was shared in our paranormal group, the Dogman and werewolf enthusiasts came forward claiming this as one of their own. After carefully looking at the clip over and over again, they believed that what the woman had captured was a rare clip of one of these cryptids in action. While the Dogman and werewolf community were united in their assertion that this was like and kin, they were unable to agree on which it was. Some called it a dogman, whereas others called it a werewolf. While this debate raged on, another sect rose up and stated this was a wendigo. There were also some who called the whole thing fake. You've seen the clip, so what do you think? Have you always thought the flames of hell were red? If you were at Texas Tech University about 2 weeks ago, you might have chosen the color green. Do you see these flames? Green, right? Imagine being on campus and seeing this all over. You might have thought hell was staging an uprising or that there was a gas explosion, but none of these two options sounds good. The university was actually rocked by an unexpected explosion on Wednesday that sent shockwaves across the campus. The blast triggered multiple fires, plunging several buildings into darkness as power outages spread. But what really caught people's attention was the airy green flames shooting out of the sewer cover. Naturally, panic set in as students and staff scrambled for safety. Not taking any chances, the university swiftly evacuated several buildings, after which investigations were launched. Should there be an interesting developments, I'm sure to share them, but imagine it was hell staging an uprising instead. We would all be in serious trouble. Imagine being on vacation without your boss's approval and then seeing this thing pop out of the water every now and then to stare at you. What would be the first thing to go through your mind? Spy cam? The individual who uploaded and shared this felt uneasy while he was not hiding from his boss, like Jeanette, our new intern, does anytime she brings her mummy's homemade apple pies, which everyone in the office loves so much. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Jeanette. We know you hid and devoured those apple pies yesterday. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Anyway, he was not hiding from anyone, but he felt that the seal looked funny and that it could probably be a spy bot or something. Many people laughed at him for not being able to tell a real-life harbor seal from a fake. He had a hard time defending his concerns until a worker from the facility showed up in his comment section and told everyone that the seal was indeed fake and that it was designed to come up every 2 hours to look and act real. It was at this moment that the man was vindicated, and I'm pretty sure he might have thought he was losing it or that everyone else was losing it. What would you have done in his position?
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Jeanette. We know you hid and devoured those apple pies yesterday. She's not listening. Anyway, let's move on.
Over the years, we've shared various theories on the pyramids on our planet, and you might want to listen to this one. There's been a lot of excitement about something new discovered beneath the pyramids of Giza. Researchers used a technology called synthetic aperture radar, or SAR for short, to scan underground and say they found a massive hidden network. They claim it stretches more than 2 kilometers and includes deep shafts, spiral staircases, and large connected rooms. So what is SAR and how does it work? Imagine trying to see what's beneath the ground without digging. SAR works by sending radio waves into the earth and measuring how they bounce back. Scientists then use computers to turn that data into images. It's often used to find underground structures, but it's not perfect. The deeper the scan goes, the harder it is to be sure what's actually there. If these findings are real, they could change how we see the pyramids. Some believe they weren't just tombs, but maybe had other purposes, like generating electricity or even communicating with distant planets. In fact, when you take a closer look at the pyramids, you'll realize that they're very different from other Egyptian tombs. They don't have the hieroglyphs that most tombs are associated with. The materials that make up their interiors are also different. The materials used in these pyramids are more like what we will use in building spaces meant to generate power even today. It's for this reason that everyone is excited about recent discoveries, but not everyone agrees. Famous Egyptologists like Dr. Zahi Hawass think the technology might not be accurate enough and that the claims could be exaggerated. So what's the truth? Are there really hidden chambers that could rewrite history, or is it just a mistake in the radar readings? Until more research is done, the pyramids are keeping their secrets for now. With all the strange things happening in our skies since the last quarter of 2024, it's no surprise that individuals are extra careful and curious whenever they sit in aeroplanes. The clip that has been playing on your screen is from a passenger on board a plane from California to El Salvador. Do you notice anything weird? No? Well, if you take a very good look, you'll notice what looks like a fleet of UFOs flying across the sky. The individual who filmed this claims he was freaking out as he watched them. He didn't react as he thought he would have. He was just frozen in fear. As always, when the clip made its way online, many were skeptical and some even called it CGI. That was at least the case until another clip showed up, this time recorded by a passenger flying over the Gulf of Mexico. He too captured a fleet of UFOs flying across the skies, this time more pronounced than what he saw earlier. Once these 2 clips hit the internet, everyone got talking. Some claimed that it had to be real as lightning does not strike twice in the same location. Others remained skeptical, stating why the pilots of these planes haven't said anything if the whole thing is real. When you think about it, that's a good and valid question. Could the whole thing really be fake news, or have these pilots been paid to keep things quiet? This is something I guess we'll never find out, at least for now. Before you totally dismiss the idea, though, remember the CIA has admitted to having a disguised department that was creating masking technologies. Yeah, something we considered fiction meant for movies like Mission Impossible. Back to the subject of thrill seekers, this next footage from Mexico is bizarre, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Some tourists went on one of those shark cage diving tours where they got into a metal cage underwater to see great white sharks up close. Sounds intense, right? Well, things took a wild turn. A massive great white shark lunged out of the water, clamping its jaws on the rope dangling just above the surface. As it thrashed wildly, the sheer force of its movements sent it crashing straight into the cage where a diver watched in helpless terror. Now keep in mind, these cages are supposed to protect people, but it managed to get in. The dive coordinator on the boat panicked, rushed to open the top of the cage while the shark was still going crazy, and for a few seconds no one knew if the person inside was okay. Then a diver in a wetsuit suddenly surfaced. He was alive and unharmed, but that was way too close for comfort. At this point, I gotta ask, why would anyone willingly get in the water with great white sharks? I get that some people love an adrenaline rush, but this is next level crazy. Would you ever try something like this, or are you, like me, firmly on dry land where sharks can't randomly crash into your day?
Here we go. Oh my God. He's in the cage. Oh my God. Was there anybody in there? Who's in the cage? Nobody's in the cage.
You know, just watch the clip. I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, I've no words for that. If I was at the table, not sure how I'd have responded. We have actually tackled this topic a number of times, but anytime I see these clips, I just can't help but laugh. If you're new here, the twitching of meat after an animal is freshly killed occurs due to residual electrical activity and chemical processes in the muscle cells. After death, the body stops producing ATP, but the ATP that remains in the muscles allows for brief contractions. Additionally, calcium ions leak into the muscle fibers, causing them to contract continuously without being able to relax, leading to involuntary spasms. Nerve cells can also fire electrical signals briefly, further triggering muscle twitches. This activity typically stops as rigor mortis sets in, usually within a few hours after death, when the muscles stiffen and metabolic processes fully cease. I know that was a whole lot, but if you've ever seen your meat do this, when it's probably because the meat is fresh. Remember the second clip we started today's episode with? It turns out Colorado is not the only place where clouds are lighting up. This clip allegedly comes from Vancouver, Canada, and it shows something similar, albeit with a little more variety this time. The light isn't shooting out of just one area this time. The light source appears to be moving behind the clouds, almost as though it was a craft or a couple of crafts. I'm no aviation expert, but even I know that there are no human crafts like this. This leaves only one suspect: aliens. And before you brush the idea off, take a second, third, and fourth look.
¡Venga tu madre!
Sí la vieron. Pinche madre, güey. No la estamos molestando, vimos que se cayó y queríamos venir a auxiliarla.
The first thought that hit me when I saw this clip was, what's this? What am I even looking at? After watching the clip a couple of thousand times, the conclusion was that it might be a troubled man. How troubled? Well, I can't tell, but that's what it looked like to me. When I showed the clip to other teammates, they felt there might be more at play here. Perhaps the individual is possessed. While that does make sense, I couldn't help but wonder why it or he screamed anytime he was engaged. That's what made me think he was possessed. Julius, on the other hand, thinks the whole thing is an act, and the setup is a bit too convenient, like I work too well. He believes they set this up in an attempt to go viral. Well, you've seen the clip, so what do you guys also think?
Si la vieron, si la vieron, si la vieron, si la vieron. Pinche madre, güey.
What is this? What am I even looking at?
Next, we got a clip from a man who shared a chilling story about what happened to him deep in the forest one night. It was a therapeutic time in the forest until a figure attacked him from the shadows. It was unexpected, but that's not what terrified him. No. What terrified him was what he saw. Yes, he didn't see much, but whatever it was that attacked him, it was not human. It was much smaller than a human and moved in ways a human couldn't. His conclusion? It was a duende. For those unfamiliar with them, duendes are mythical goblin-like creatures from Latin American and Iberian folklore, often described as mischievous or protective spirits that dwell in forests or homes, sometimes helping or playing tricks on humans. If we're going with the playing tricks on humans part, it feels like whatever attacked the man is already nailing that part down. People have whispered about strange encounters in Fincas del Guarico Calabozo before, and it's the same place he was attacked. Could there be a pattern? Is there something out there that no one fully understands? I guess we should send Julius out there. What do you think? Next, we visit Mexico again, where some men spotted something strange floating in the sky. It had this odd shape, and there were no visible propulsion systems, no wings, no rotors, nothing that looked like a normal aircraft. It just hovered there, looking completely out of place. People started speculating. Some thought it could be a UFO, but even compared to the many UFO sightings we've seen, this one looked different. Others suggested it might just be a bunch of balloons tied together, creating an illusion of something mysterious, but that's just a theory. We can't say for sure. Now, watching the footage yourself, what do you think? It's been a while since we shared something from Russia, and this next clip is one that I found both intriguing and amusing. A fisherman in Russia stated that a UFO had been following him. It was not just interested in capturing him. No, it would usually emerge from beneath the sea and hover at a distance. He managed to capture a clip of one of the times it emerged, and what you see on your screen is what he captured. If I looked at this without any backstory, I would say it's just an oil rig, but the fisherman insists it was more. Do you think the UFOs are now disguising themselves as things that we're used to seeing, or is this fisherman just telling us a tall tale? Please share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section. A woman in Ohio recently shared this bizarre footage. She was just out on a walk with her child when she spotted this strange white ring of light floating just above the ground. The weirdest part was, it seemed to react to her voice. As she spoke, the shape started changing. Sometimes it looked like a perfect ring, other times it stretched out thinner. At one point, an orb appeared in the center, making it look like a giant eye staring back at them. Then, as if it was aware of being watched, it floated closer to the camera before eventually backing up and vanishing. People online are divided on this one. Some say it could be a portal, others think it might be some kind of interdimensional entity reacting to human presence. But in today's world of CGI and video editing, we have to consider the possibility that this is just a well-made hoax.
It just totally changed shapes on here. And I'm not moving. Okay, guys, if you watched from the beginning of this, you saw... Look! What are you? What are you?
The clip on your screen was recorded by a man who came home one day to find his dogs barking hysterically. If you pay attention to the audio, you'll hear a woman crying. Do you hear it? The more the woman in question cried, the more the dogs got upset. Once the man realized this, he felt his blood run cold. Why, you ask? Anyone who is asking this question is most likely new here. We've spoken many times about a woman who weeps at night because she lost her children. This woman is La Llorona, and once the man realized what was happening, he believed Llorona might be stalking him or someone on his property. He then uploaded the clip in search of other opinions from the paranormal community. What do you guys think is going on here? What do you think he should do? Still on strange figures, stalking or visiting men, we got this clip from a man who was woken up in the middle of the night when he heard strange noises coming from his yard. Curious, but a little uneasy, he grabbed his phone and stepped outside to take a look, and that's when he saw it. A dark figure stood still in the shadows, its head shaped like a dog with glowing eyes staring right at him. The moment it noticed him watching, it calmly turned around and walked away, vanishing behind the gateway. Naturally, this man was terrified. He'd never seen anything like this before. But what really unsettled him was how calm the creature seemed, almost like it knew he was there all along. The internet is full of theories, with some convinced it's the legendary Dogman, while others think it's just a big dog or wolf and the glowing eyes are just a camera flash trick. All these theories are possibilities since they had valid points. So, did this guy just have a face-to-face encounter with the Dogman, or is there a more logical explanation? Have you ever wondered why some people just happen to be in the right place at the right time, almost as if they anticipated it? Well, this footage from a man in Berlin has people asking just that. He was casually filming a passenger plane flying through the sky. Now, you might be wondering why someone would randomly film a plane. Well, here's why. In the sky, there was a strange black ring hovering in place, and then just as the plane flies through it, it vanishes, gone, just like that. The internet is divided on this one. Some say it's a crazy real-life anomaly, maybe even some kind of portal. But others argue it's way too perfectly timed to be real and that the entire thing is CGI. Interestingly, there haven't been any official reports of a missing plane, which makes the idea of this being legit pretty questionable. So what do you think? Now, this footage, I might actually believe. It was shared by a nurse working the night shift at a hospital. And let me tell you, if there's one place that's 100% haunted, it's a hospital. At least that's what my team believes. While on her shift, a nurse noticed a motion sensor door that kept sliding open and closing on its own, even though no one was anywhere near it. At first, she thought maybe it was just a fault, but even as she walked closer to the door, it kept moving like something invisible was triggering it. She hadn't seen the door behave like this before, so she concluded it was probably the power of something otherworldly. While some in the community are willing to explore the possibility, many are skeptical. They state that it could just be a faulty sensor, and that sounds logical, but let's also keep in mind that hospitals are full of energy, and if any place is going to be haunted, it's definitely there. Next, we have something that looks like the stuff of horror movies. Don't believe me? Watch the footage. Did you see it? Was that a deer with fangs? No, take a look again. Yup, that's definitely a deer with fangs. Do vampires turn into wild animals too? If they do, I won't be surprised if Count Dracula or one of his inner circles was responsible. I mean, do these creatures go around drinking the blood of other animals, or do they have a taste for human blood? As much as I would love to speculate and fantasize about this all day long, sadly, these creatures are all but ordinary animals. But here's the irony. This particular deer species is known as the Chinese water deer, not a blood-sucking one. Despite their intimidating appearance, these creatures are actually herbivores and practically just deer. They're found in China and Korea, where they are protected. So tell me, if you met this creature in the wild, would you be tempted to pet it, or would you just mind your business and stay far away? Tell us in the comments section. Still on ghosts, take a look at this image that was sent in by a follower of this channel. She claims that this was captured on a trail cam she had set up in a remote area in the woods. She regularly checked the trail cam, which captured footage of the local wildlife in the area. To her surprise, however, her most recent capture had the image you see on your screen. And yes, that's a humanoid staring at the trail cam. Interestingly, while the rest of the image is sharp, the body of the humanoid appears blurry. This made her believe she was looking at a ghost or cryptid of some kind. After reviewing our records of paranormal beings and events, it's hard for us to accept that this is truly paranormal. Personally, a part of me believes that this is fabricated, but perhaps that's just me being skeptical. What do you think about it? Apart from the mysteries of Bigfoot, many things also leave the internet stuck in awe and confusion. One such intriguing footage was captured by a UK-based YouTuber known for his channel, Exploring with Danny. Danny, known for his explorations of abandoned places, recently ventured into an abandoned church. Little did he know this visit would take an unexpected turn. I'll not say much, I'll let the video speak for itself.
Hello? Hello?
Maybe Danny didn't get the memo of the word abandoned, but that strange pale person in the footage just gave him enough of a reminder to send him running away. What's your take on this video? Do you think it was staged, or did Danny genuinely encounter something unexpected? Judging from his reaction, it looks like he had quite the scare. But is it authentic, though? I'll let you decide that. If you thought the previous video was wild, then it's clearly because you haven't seen this. In this footage, we see a black-furred creature being gently lulled to sleep. As if that's not already weird enough, a few seconds into the video, it appears to be working. The small creature has human-like hands, complete with black-colored nails. The creature's fingers appear smaller than those of a human. Its face has a cream and pinkish complexion, and its eyes, opening and closing, reveal black pupils. It's making a valiant effort to stay awake, as if wanting to have the last laugh rather than succumb to sleep. What species of creature is it, though? You might be tempted to say monkey and ape, and while you might not be too far from the truth, I beg to differ. If you asked me, I'd say it does resemble a baby Bigfoot. Wouldn't you agree? Next, we have footage that looks like what you'd expect from hell. In the Trailcam footage, which is sped up, we see the forest all suddenly catch fire. The fire does not, however, look like your everyday fire. Instead, it looks purplish and bluish. You don't have to be a pyrotechnics expert to know that such fires are hotter than your everyday fire. Many enthusiasts of the paranormal, including us, initially suspected a supernatural cause due to the unusual nature of the fire's origin. It turns out, however, that there was a forest fire in the area and it spread to that location. But that's not exactly how fires spread now, is it? Either share your thoughts with us in the comments section. We'd love to hear them. Next, we have footage that's apparently the result of a disturbance in the neighborhood. Residents of the neighborhood were unsettled by the continuous screams of an unidentified man, leaving them perplexed and concerned. If you have heard anyone scream, you know how uncomfortable that can be, which is no surprise that having the man screaming for hours made them call in the sheriff. The footage you are seeing now is apparently from his body cam. Strangely enough, as soon as the sheriff reaches the scene, an eerie silence descends upon the area. Being the police officer that he is, he searches the vicinity for anything out of the ordinary as he makes his way down the road. Using his flashlight, he initially finds nothing until he catches sight of a pale and ghostly figure with unnaturally elongated arms. This creature, or whatever it is, was initially sitting, but once exposed to the sheriff's light, it runs away and disappears from sight. Fortunately, though, the sheriff's body cam records the whole thing. Upon reviewing the footage, it becomes apparent that the entity captured is humanoid and likely a cryptid. Analyzing its skin and behavior, paranormal experts have posited that it could potentially be a creature known as the Rake. Looking at the evidence in the footage, you can't blame them, but is the video truly real? A part of me thinks otherwise, but what do you think? Hunting can be quite an exciting pastime, and part of the thrill lies in the anticipation of what you might encounter. But it seems like some folks took their hunting endeavors to a whole new level. Out in the picturesque hiking trails of Utah, things took a dark turn when someone decided to turn the area into a booby-trap playground, making it perilous for unsuspecting hikers. The situation got so dire that the police had to step in, launching an investigation that ultimately led them to apprehend 2 suspects. These individuals had constructed what can only be described as a deadly contraption, armed with sharp stakes and hefty stones weighing in at a whopping 9 kilograms. These traps were cleverly concealed, and had the police not intervened promptly, we might have had some serious injuries or worse. I suspect worse. The suspects claimed they'd set these traps with the intention of catching an animal, but let's be honest, it all sounds a bit fishy, doesn't it? It's almost like they were gearing up for a face-off with some mythical beast, be it Bigfoot or even, dare I say it, a vampire, given the abundance of stakes involved. Either that or these had actually marked out someone or groups of persons to be hurt by the trap. While we may never know for sure, it's definitely quite the mystery, wouldn't you say? In this clip, we have a group of friends out in the woods having fun and recording the whole thing. They seem to have set up a makeshift basketball court in the woods surrounded by their parked cars. If you pay attention to the audio, you'll realize that beyond their laughter, there's a shrill sound in the background. It's almost as if there's some weird or wild creature out there. The person behind the camera points this out and begins walking toward the woods. At that moment, he spots a creature resembling an ape casually walking on its 2 feet moving through the woods. As expected, It startled both him and his friends. I mean, it's not every day you see a giant of a beast casually walking through the woods. The person filming attempts to get closer for a clearer look, but his friends discourage him from doing so.
I see it back there.
I did too. Just walking. Oh. Yeah.
What could they have run into? You don't need to be an expert in the paranormal to know that the creature is most definitely Bigfoot. But one question looms. Is that the real deal, or are we looking at someone in a costume? Well, I think I'll let you decide on this one. Think that was odd? Take a look at this deer from upstate New York. Can you see it? Do you notice how odd it looks? It almost looks like a character model from a cartoon or something. There's just one problem. That's not how deer look in the wild. They don't have forward-facing eyes, nor do they have expressions like that. I mean, it looks like a beautiful photorealistic AI-generated image, but it's not. All who saw the image could tell there was something wrong, but couldn't quite put a finger to it. The paranormal community, on the other hand, believes they know what it is, a paranormal being. And there's only one that fits the bill, a skinwalker. Skinwalkers are able to mimic the appearance of animals et al., but they're always flaws because they're not naturally animals. I believe this creature we see might be a bad attempt to imitate a deer, but what do you also think? Next is this footage that's a bit of a controversial one. In the clip, we can see a car suddenly take a turn off the main road into an off-road path. As the car progresses through the path, we see two beings clothed in white. Despite the car approaching, the beings remain in the path, unmoving and seemingly aware of the vehicle's presence. The car comes to a sudden stop, mere feet away from the beings, who still stubbornly refuse to move out of the way. As the driver is contemplating what to do, they suddenly turn around and look at them in an eerie and scary fashion. You don't need to be a psychic to know they bolted out of there. But we can't help but wonder, is this really real? The individuals on the path look more like people in costumes than they do spirits. But what do I know? Perhaps you could share your thoughts. What do you think? Encounters with creatures like Bigfoot are the stuff of legends and campfire tales, but for one man in Tennessee, it became a very real and unforgettable experience. It all began with strange vocalizations echoing through the lush green lands, a haunting combination of howls and growls. Intrigued, the man decided to follow the eerie sounds. His journey led him to a set of enormous footprints in the mud, tracks that were far too large to belong to a human. The discovery added an extra layer of mystery and intrigue to the situation. As he was inspecting the prints, the man's heart must have raced when he heard rustling leaves in the brush ahead. He turned to find himself face to face with a peeking Bigfoot. The creature stared at him, a moment frozen in time before vanishing into the woods. Have you ever wondered what Bigfoot sounded like? Does it speak intelligibly? If it does it sound Irish, British, or perhaps even Italian? These questions have plagued my mind for a long time, and this next footage is perhaps an answer to that.
What the fuck is that noise?
Did you hear that? The uploader of the footage states that they are Bigfoot vocalizations from the area where he lives. Bigfoot sightings have been regular there, and if anything, the sightings have increased. they hear these vocalizations. While this is certainly not what I expected, it's certainly an answer. One question still remains. Is this authentic? If it is this the only sound they actually make, or is there more? Next, we have footage of a scout examining an isolated area deep in the night. The scout is suddenly startled by unfamiliar and eerie noises during his usual routine. Instead of running off, he decides to take the chance and look into this mystery. He takes along his camera, hoping to capture something spectacular. With his flashlight illuminating the darkness, he cautiously directs his attention toward the source of the unsettling sounds, and to his surprise, a creature, white in color and with a form unseen anywhere before, is moving through the bushes and trees ahead. You think that would be a cue for him to make a tactical retreat, but no, he keeps directing his light source to the same area. Realizing it's been exposed, the creature frantically seeks new hiding spots amidst the bushes and trees. While the creature ultimately evades capture, the ranger does manage to record a glimpse of it on camera, as seen in the footage before you. Although blurred, the creature bears a strong correspondence to the infamous rake. Could this be a rare sighting of the creature, or is this whole thing a hoax? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Have you ever heard a skinwalker scream? Well, we have, and it's a nerve-wracking experience. We were too terrified to even think of recording it at the time. However, we've managed to obtain footage from Gila National Park where multiple skinwalkers were heard unleashing bone-chilling screams. Have a listen. Did you hear them? Does that sound like any creature you know? And there's something else. I can't tell if you noticed, but you can't hear birds chirping or any other animals. Remember, if you find yourself in the woods and an eerie silence envelops the surroundings, there's only one explanation: a lurking danger. And in this case, we strongly believe it's the presence of a skinwalker. Beyond that, the voices sound very far, right? That's a good thing. Well, no, skinwalkers like to make themselves sound very far away, even when they're very close. This is usually to trick you into running into them so that they have their way with you. When you think about that and realize there are multiple voices that sound very far, you know that the one who recorded this footage was lucky to make it out there alive. I mean, I'm having the chills just thinking about it. Hikers often come across some of the most breathtaking and mysterious sights in the great outdoors, and spotting a creature on the mountain is an experience that can leave anyone spellbound. In this case, the hiker caught sight of a creature that bore a resemblance to the legendary Bigfoot, but the footage was captured at a distance and wasn't clear enough for a definitive identification. The only way for someone to stand out from that far out was for it to be considerably large. Given that this was captured on a mountain with what looks like fur on its body, we can only assume that's a Bigfoot. If you think otherwise, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Nighttime intruders can be a cause for alarm and uncertainty, especially when they take on a strange and unsettling appearance. In this case, a homeowner was awakened by the sound of his dog barking and scratching at the door. Investigating the commotion, he was confronted with an unusual creature peering through the glass window, a sight like nothing he had ever seen before. What could this thing be? As far as he could tell, it looked like a canine, but with markings on its face that he'd never seen before. He uploaded the footage online, and the community has been divided about it. That doesn't help the owner, as encounters like these can be deeply disconcerting, leaving the observer with more questions than answers. In this case, there's also a concern for safety because his dog is scared of the creature and only barks from afar when the animal visits. Can anyone help? Next, we have another potential scream of a skinwalker which was recorded on a home security system. Listen to it. Did you hear it? What could be happening in the woods? Was that really a skinwalker? If the scream is that loud, does that mean the creature lives nearby? Is the creature trying to lure the homeowners out? So many questions, yet little to no answers. What do you think? Still on the supernatural, watch this footage. Did you see that? Do you see the being that fell into the water? Well, what do you think it is? The person who uploaded the footage captured by their Trailcam believed that what fell into the water was a ghost. However, after the video was uploaded, the paranormal community speculated that it was not a ghost per se, but rather a young lady who had become possessed by one. Personally, I think she might be possessed too. A critical analysis of the footage reveals the presence of either one possessed person near the water or a life-size doll potentially serving as the source of the possession. Although we may not be able to fully tell what we're dealing with, we know that whatever it is, it's a spirit or a ghost of sorts. What do you think? In this footage, we can see a pile of leaves around a hollow spot in the middle of the woods. Tell me, what do you see lurking in the shadows among the leaves? I've got my money on a face, but hey, you know what your creative minds will come up with. All right, folks, time to take a breather from all this brain teaser. Ever heard of the word pareidolia? It's a quirky phenomenon where our brains spot familiar patterns in completely unrelated things, like seeing a smiley face in a slice of toast or a dragon in the clouds. I believe you experienced such when you checked out the footage. The uploader of the footage suspects that there's a Bigfoot in there, but I have a question. Based on your own experience trying to identify whatever is in the footage and your newly found knowledge of the phenomenon, what do you think is really happening in there? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section.
Znači nema ništa, kiša počela da pada, kao što vidite.
As the camera rolls, we hear the voice of a foreign man who appears to be on a quest to capture evidence of some mysterious sightings he's encountered.
Ne znam ni ja sam šta je.
In his haste to capture a potential eureka moment, he sprints across a well-manicured grass field, camera in hand, capturing every step. Further ahead, a mysterious structure emerges in the middle of the unknown vicinity. However, as he turns, we catch a glimpse of glowing lights and a lurking presence behind the structure. It has a ghostly form, and it's unlike any otherworldly, cryptid, or paranormal entity we have encountered. Do you see it too? Do you know what creature this is? If you do, please share it with us in the comments section. Next is footage I would want you to see before I pass any comments. Watch the clip. Did you notice anything out of place? Have a look again. Did you catch it? Well, in case you missed it, a few seconds into the clip, there's something peculiar moving in the shadows just beyond the reach of the headlights. It's almost as though it's moving quickly so that it's not seen by those in the vehicle. Although it manages to get away, the dashboard cam of the vehicle records it. Upon closer examination of the footage, it becomes evident that the creature is covered in fur and exhibits an uncanny ability to walk upright. Apes can do that, but the footage was recorded in a region where there are no apes. This can only mean one thing: we are dealing with a cryptid. There's only one that fits the bill: Bigfoot. The uploaders were convinced they were dealing with a Bigfoot, and we are as well, but what do you think? Tell us in the comments section. Speaking of rare occurrences, take a look at this image. In it, we see a buck carrying a pig pierced on its antlers in the midst of a wide field. Upon closer inspection, you'll notice that the object impaled on its antlers resembles a pig, adding to the mystery. Take a closer look and you'll be astonished to see that it indeed resembles a pig. A buck and a pig? How? I mean, why? Could it have been provoked, or is it something it does for sport? Is it even possible? Is there a logical explanation for it? Sure, a buck could cause serious damage to a pig with its antlers, but how to raise the whole pig? I doubt that's even possible, or could there be something we're missing here? Tell us what you think in the comments section. Next, we have a capture that doesn't give away much of its surroundings except a tall figure right before the camera, revealing what might seem to be a cryptid or an alien. With a physique resembling that of a human, this creature sure does give me the creeps. Turquoise blue in color with glowing eyes and a chest area resembling cocoa in shape, it possesses long arms, fingers, and legs. Its nose and mouth resembled that of an anteater with distinct lines showcasing its unique features, setting it apart from otherworldly creatures we've encountered. Notably, detailed bone structures protrude from various parts of its body, suggesting it may not have had a substantial meal for quite some time. What do you think this is? Are we staring at a possible Halloween custom-made costume, or should we be wary going out in the dead of night? If it's no Halloween costume, could this really be an alien? I can't say with certainty, but well, I wouldn't be surprised if it is. In this video clip, we see a typical family moment at home with beautifully designed carpets of various colors. In the corner, just behind them, we spot a small and unusual creature. It's cute and black with hair resembling that of an ape or bear. The creature playfully moves before it's revealed to have a string or a thread attached to it. It's held by the speaker, and shortly after the playful movements, the man opens the door and steps outside to remove his shoes, with the creature closely following. All who've seen the creature believe it's a baby Bigfoot. Frankly, I can see it being one, but what about you? Do you see it? When you clicked this video, did you ever think you'd see a baby Bigfoot? Well, there you have it. But what at all will drive someone to tie this little one with a thread? And why would you keep a baby Bigfoot? What would you do when it hits adolescence and starts to grow rapidly? What if its family comes searching? Speaking of supernatural, this next footage is one for the books. At first glance, the footage you were seeing on your screen looks just like any other trail cam footage. A couple of deer grazing and carefully looking around to make sure they're safe. When the owner of the trail cam reviewed it, he saw the same. After a closer inspection of the video, however, it came to light that there were more characters in the footage than initially thought. Watch the footage again and pay attention. Do you see the face there in the brightened image? At some point in the footage, you see the deer look in that same direction as though they knew the creature was there. Could it be that the Bigfoot noticed the camera and refused to come out and get noticed? Let us know what you think. Next, imagine you are on a romantic date with your spouse in the woods when an unknown creature, which doubles as a giant, suddenly moves in the bushes ahead of you. How would you respond? Now stop imagining and watch the video. Did you see it? You saw the giant move in the bushes, didn't you? This footage was recorded by a couple whose romantic night out was suddenly interrupted by a disturbance in the bushes, only for them to see what you saw on screen. Now, let's examine the creature's appearance. It's covered in hair, walks upright like a human, and possesses a body reminiscent of an ape. What creature comes to mind from this description? Yes, you're right, a Bigfoot. No one likes a third wheel whilst on a romantic date, but no one expects that third wheel to be a ginormous creature. Everyone seems to believe that the giant was Bigfoot. What do you think? This next footage was captured by a trail cam that was supposed to be well hidden from wildlife, but for some reason, one creature was able to sniff it out. And guess what? It didn't exactly look natural. Take a look. Do you see it? We've seen lots of wolves on this channel, and believe me when I tell you, they typically don't look like that. If you pay attention to the footage, you'll realize that the creature almost looks humanoid. It appears to be bipedal with shoulders et al. You and I know wolves are quadrupeds, which means they walk on 4 legs. This makes us believe that we could be dealing with a werewolf or something along those lines. What do you think, though? Do you see what I'm seeing, or am I simply reading too much into a simple capture? Sometimes reality can be so bewildering that it seems to validate our wildest imaginations. In this peculiar footage, the scene is reminiscent of a simple stick figure drawing we've all created. A slender figure, almost like a living stick figure, is captured on a snowy path in the dead of night. The image is surreal, as if someone's childhood sketch has come to life. The figure's upper part is shrouded in darkness, adding an extra layer of mystique. But what's undeniable are the long, spindly legs moving with an otherworldly grace. Could it be a trick of the light, a creature unknown to science, or just a clever optical illusion? The mystery persists, much like those stick figures we used to draw as kids. On that note, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now before I send that creature after you. On a more serious note, it really helps us out a ton and gives us the opportunity to keep making these videos for you. So please do so and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you very much. Still on the supernatural, watch this next footage.
Starting to regret that I stopped at this rest stop. And they say big.
Did you hear that? Do you hear those vocalizations? I mean, let's be honest, those vocalizations don't sound like any predator we're familiar with, right? It sounds nothing like a wolf, bear, or even mountain lion. What then could it be? No one truly knows. The recorder of the footage, however, can be heard in the background, stating he can't believe people refuse to believe in Bigfoot after all this. The reason for his statement is simple. Beyond the general consensus among many logical minds that Bigfoot does not exist, many individuals who live near the woods the video was recorded in state that they don't believe in the cryptid despite the numerous sightings of the creature. The strange vocalizations might also have been going on for a long time, and no one has ever been able to get to the bottom of it. So what do you think? Do you believe that we're dealing with a Bigfoot, or do you think there's a more logical explanation to the whole thing? Tell us in the comment section. Would the government cover up the existence of cryptids? Well, this next trail cam footage seems to suggest so. The footage reveals a dog-like creature sprinting through the woods, captured on what appears to be a body cam attached to an individual in pursuit. The story behind this footage is that it was recorded on a government operation to find and suppress a dog-man creature in an undisclosed location. However, after unknown individuals or hackers leaked the footage to the public, they seemingly vanished without a trace. The footage looks weird because it's stabilized footage from a clip that's less than 5 seconds long. You are literally watching it frame by frame. It's hard to ignore how awkward and wacky it looks. Do you think this is the real deal, or is this a well-planned and clever hoax? Tell us in the comments section. Venturing into the woods at night can be a thrilling and eerie experience. It's definitely a setting where the unexpected can certainly occur, and our final clip depicts that perfectly. In this case, a YouTube crew filming in the dark wilderness stumbled upon a pale humanoid figure that promptly fled upon noticing their presence. This sighting raises more questions than it provides answers. It's often challenging to determine if the figure is a naked person or a creature due to the low visibility and the unsettling nature of the encounter. The forest's dense canopy and the darkness of night can play tricks on one's perception, adding to the mystery of what was observed. What do you think? A sighting of an otherworldly-looking creature in the woods is bound to pique anyone's curiosity and raise questions about the mysteries of the natural world. In this instance, the creature sports a striking appearance that's nothing short of alien. I mean, it's barely visible in the bushes, but looking closely, you can see it. Its eyes betray it with an eerie glow that makes it impossible to not spot it. Despite spotting a face and eyes, we still can't see the creature. Does anyone know what this is? Could it be a known wild animal, or is this truly an otherworldly and extraterrestrial encounter? Share your thoughts with me in the comments section. Did you know that there was drone technology that allowed the operators to form images and QR codes in the sky? What if I told you that nature did this first? Confused? Watch this footage. In the footage, we see a group of starlings, or if you want to get technical, a murmuration shape-shifting into various forms. The birds are no strangers to such behavior, but on this particular day, the photographer noticed an unusual level of activity. Intrigued, he focused his attention and readied his camera. And within mere minutes, his preparedness met a golden opportunity, allowing him to capture the extraordinary scene you're witnessing on your screen. And yes, that's a giant bird made up of hundreds, if not thousands, of smaller birds. All who saw this were left in awe, and it didn't just happen once, but twice in the same night, and hasn't happened again ever since then. There are some who believe it's natural and perhaps a mere coincidence, but the paranormal community thinks otherwise. They believe that there could be something more at play, yet can't seem to place their fingers on it. What do you think, though? Before you conclude you are seeing things, allow me to assure you that you are not. Behold, right in front of you lies the Minnesota Iceman, a seemingly lifeless Bigfoot. Sure, it exhibits ape-like fur and body, but its proportions and muscular build are strangely reminiscent of a well-built man. You don't need to be a scientist to know that this 7-foot creature walked on 2 feet. But how did it die, and how was the body found? This is a story that no one has been able to figure out. This creature was initially promoted and sent around the world by a man known as Frank Hansen. He claimed that he found the frozen corpse in a region of Siberia. Once authorities started descending on him, however, the story changed multiple times until it was finally declared a hoax. This revelation came after the original body he presented disappeared from public view for months. Hansen then resurfaced with another corpse, claiming it was a more recent capture. However, investigators soon discovered that it was nothing more than a latex and rubber model, skillfully crafted in the West. It even went on sale on eBay in 2013. So, what happened to the first model? Was it really a fake as well? Or did Hansen pull it from public view because of threats or fears of it being stolen or taken from him? Well, the truth remains a mystery, but some in the paranormal community speculate that Hansen might have killed and illegally imported a rock ape during his time in the Vietnam War. For those who don't know, the rock ape is a Vietnamese cousin of the Bigfoot. What do you think, though? Hoax or true? Tell us in the comments section. Kelly Villars, a TikTok user with a taste for adventure, decided to dive into the intriguing world of the Randonautica app. This app, well known for sending users to random, often mysterious locations, promises to deliver unforgettable experiences. And for many, it lives up to that promise, leading them to strange and sometimes eerie places. In Kelly's case, a journey with Randonautica took an unexpected turn. She found herself at a location sitting in a car when something odd caught her attention. Two figures, seemingly men, were approaching her from behind. One wore a striking red shirt and the other donned white. But here's where it gets eerie. When she checked a car's rearview mirror, these individuals were nowhere to be seen. There was no sign of trickery or video editing. It was as real as it gets. So what's the deal here? Is it a paranormal encounter, a glitch in the Matrix, or something else entirely? Next up is our bonus segment. What do you think of this? Thousands have seen this footage, but not many have done a good job identifying what it is or where it came from. Can you do any better? If you can, your task is simple. Name what it is, give us your reasons for your answer, and we'll review it. If you are indeed right, your name shall be immortalized among the few names of individuals on this channel who have succeeded in identifying our bonus content. When writing out your answer, start with bonus footage so we easily identify it among the comments. The answer with the most accurate description with the most convincing reason will win a feature in our next video. All the best.
I can't see you, but I bet there are some of you that roll your eyes anytime I mention glitches and simulations, but how would you guys explain this? Tell me you see it. The clip looks like it was taken at a garage or dealership. At first glance, I didn't notice what was wrong with the clip until I took a second look and realized that it was raining on just one car. Can you see it? Now tell me that's not a glitch. Tell me that's not abnormal. I know what some of you will say, localized rain, but come on. That affects an area larger than just one vehicle. Well, that's what I thought until I did some research. It turns out it's possible, though rare, for it to rain on just one car. This could happen due to a highly localized weather event, such as a tiny convective cloud releasing rain over a very small area, or a passing shower coinciding with the car's location. Additionally, obstacles like tall buildings or trees could deflect rain, making it seem like only one car is getting wet while others nearby remain dry. Such occurrences are unusual and typically short-lived, but they can happen under the right conditions. I still don't think it's normal, though. I believe this has got to be a glitch, and we found a way to explain it away. What say you guys? Now moving back to the topic of aliens. Have you wondered why there's been no official word on them? I mean, if they're out there, why won't they talk to us? Well, there are three major theories, and you won't like the third. The first theory is what many call the Great Silence Theory. This theory suggests that aliens are so advanced that we're merely an insignificant bit of the cosmos to them. In other words, they're just not interested in us. The next theory is the zoo theory, which states that aliens are interested in us, just not interested in directly dealing with us, so they watch us as we go to the zoo and watch animals. The final theory, and most disturbing, is that we are living in a simulation. The aliens in this situation will be our creators who are merely interested in seeing how things are going with the simulations. Think of a child playing a video game with the video game characters thinking they're real. With advancements in AI, this shouldn't sound too absurd, right? Anyway, tell me which of these you think is the most likely situation.
The allure of the unknown and the mysterious can sometimes lead to fascinating tales and unexpected discoveries. In the case of the Costa Rican fishermen back in 2011, their encounter with a peculiar sea creature must have been a thrilling experience. The creature's strange movements in the sea and its unfamiliar appearance sparked their curiosity, leading them to capture and bring it home to share their discoveries with others. It's not uncommon for such encounters to evoke thoughts of aliens or paranormal creatures, especially when faced with something entirely out of the realm of one's usual experiences. I dug deeper concerning this story and found many sources calling it a hoax, because the website that posted it had disappeared and the individual is also nowhere to be found. Given this circumstance, they concluded that the story was made up and that they probably altered an image of a stingray. What if that's not the situation, though? What if he found something and was captured to keep him silent? I guess we'll never know. A possible rake sighting is certainly an intriguing and spine-tingling prospect. In the heart of the night, a peculiar creature is discovered perched on a wooden structure within a field. The creature is characterized by its glowing eyes and a body that appears eerily human and crouched. This unsettling presence sits atop the structure for a time, an eerie silhouette against the darkness. Then, with an almost supernatural grace, it jumps off and vanishes into the obscurity of the night. Whether this is indeed a sighting of a rake or something else entirely remains a mystery, but it's an encounter that tantalizes the imagination, does it not?
A few years ago, if anyone told me they felt something was off about a cloud in the sky, I would laugh and call them crazy. In today's world, however, I can't do that. Take a look at this clip, for instance. What do you see? The footage starts off with an abnormally gray cloud compared to the ones around it, moving toward the left side of the frame. After moving for a few seconds, it disappears. It just fades out. The last time I checked, clouds aren't meant to do that, which leaves us with a lot of questions. The main question among the many is, what just happened? I wish I had answers, but I don't. Currently, we can only speculate, and the one thing on top of the list of speculations is alien technology. I know this is a subject that gets a lot of controversy surrounding it, but how else would you explain what you're seeing? Many believe that there's a spaceship there pretending to be a cloud. It moves slowly and then cloaks itself. Some thought that was far-fetched and stated that this might be nothing more than an iridescent cloud, but I double-checked, and an iridescent cloud is a type of cloud that displays a range of bright colors similar to those seen on a soap bubble or oil slick. This phenomenon occurs due to the diffraction of sunlight or moonlight as it passes through tiny water droplets or ice crystals in the cloud. The light is scattered into various colors, creating a rainbow-like appearance. You and I can see that that's not what's happening here. So what's your hypothesis? A man was out hiking in the mountains of Utah when he spotted something unusual at the foot of a mountain. It was a thick, dark figure that seemed out of place. At first, he was skeptical and didn't want to jump to conclusions, so he decided to do a comparison. He went back to the same location with a 6-foot-tall, 200-pound person and filmed them in the exact spot where he'd seen the figure. When comparing the footage side by side, the difference is striking. On the left, the original footage shows what appears to be a Bigfoot, much thicker and significantly taller than the human in the footage on the right. The comparison is uncanny and raises the question, did this hiker capture evidence of a Bigfoot in the Utah mountains?
YouTube drones have opened up a whole new realm of possibilities for exploration and discovery, and occasionally they capture something truly intriguing. In this instance, as a drone was surveying a property, it stumbled upon a creature moving below. The creature's appearance was remarkably human, but its size and the presence of dark fur led everyone who saw it to believe that they had encountered a Bigfoot. While skepticism and debates surround the existence of Bigfoot, these encounters continue to fuel the mystery and fascination surrounding this cryptid. Hunting is a profession that's definitely not for the faint of heart. Not only is it dangerous, but more often than not, they encounter things they can't explain. This clip is one of such encounters, but fortunately for us, the hunter had a camera on him. Now, the hunter recording is hidden in a hunter's blind, which is a setup used by hunters to hide from wild animals. This means that although the creature we are seeing is merely 20 feet from him, the hunter is camouflaged. As you can see, this creature, however, possesses higher intelligence than your average animal, as he spotted the blind and is trying to be careful. It has fur all around, and if you didn't know any better, you'd say it's an ape. But when you look closer, you realize it's not. It seems to possess human-like capabilities, yet has the fur of, say, an ape or a bear. It didn't take too long for the paranormal community to declare this as a Bigfoot once the footage was uploaded. Take a look at the footage. I can't help but agree. This is certainly one of the clearest and most up-close footage of Bigfoot that we have ever had on this channel. But is it authentic? Is it real? None can 100% confirm it, but I'm willing to take a leap of faith. What about you?
This video, allegedly captured on a night vision camera, shows a massive beast on all fours moving menacingly toward the camera, its snarls echoing through the darkness. When you take a closer look at its facial features, it becomes clear that this creature is something entirely different. At first glance, I thought it might be a feline, maybe a tiger or even a lion, but there's something off about it. The creature's face doesn't match any known animal, and it exudes an otherworldly menace. It definitely looks deadly, whatever it might be. Julius is convinced that the footage is fake, perhaps just a clever piece of CGI or a manipulated image. Even Aaron is leaning toward the possibility, which is a first. Having these two agree on something is scary, and I would want a third opinion, so care to share your thoughts? This footage looks like a scene straight out of a movie, but according to the original uploader, it's anything but fiction. As you can see, there's thunder and terrifying lightning up in the sky, nature showing its raw and powerful side. But here's where things get weird. There seems to be a figure up there in the sky shaped like a person. Now, I can't say for sure what this is because the figure is blurry, but it's giving off some serious superhuman vibes. Is this real-life Thor or Storm up there? Well, I guess it depends on which civilization you ask. This is what I mean. Raijin, the Japanese god of thunder, lightning, and storms, is depicted as a muscular figure surrounded by drums that create thunder. Tlaloc, the Aztec god of rain and lightning, wields lightning bolts and controls the weather, especially during the rainy season. Perun, the Slavic god of thunder and war, is a mighty warrior whose lightning serves as a divine weapon to protect the righteous. And then there's Thor, the Norse god of thunder, lightning, and storms, who wields the powerful hammer Mjolnir, which used to summon lightning and protect both gods and humans. But what do you guys think? Is this some kind of trick, or is there really something or someone up there?
Next, we have another chilling capture that unveils an otherworldly creature that defies comprehension. Think I'm exaggerating? Well, take a look. This still image was captured on a trail camera situated deep within a mysterious forest, one akin to the Dark Forest Harry Potter series. It reveals a massive, deformed creature with 4 legs and a tail. Taking a second look, you'd realize that the creature appears to have 2 heads. One faces the camera with its mouth agape, while the other gazes in a different direction. As if all these were not weird enough, the creature is also very muscular, with its physique resembling that of a bodybuilder. Either way, we have many questions about this creature and its origin. Is it the result of an experiment gone wrong? Is it an otherworldly creature materializing in our plane? Is it an AI generation meant to throw us off? We simply can't put our finger on it. What do you think it is? Now, this is something that'll make you do a double take on your next hike. Picture this. You're out in the rugged mountains surrounded by nature's beauty, and then, bam, you stumble upon a stone face carved in the side of a cliff. Not exactly the hiking buddy you were expecting, right? But wait, it gets even stranger. As you zoom in on this rocky visage, you notice something peculiar. At first glance, it appears rather stoic, almost like it's silently watching over the wilderness. But as you zoom in further, it almost seems like the face is cracking a mysterious smile. Now, that's not something you come across every day in the great outdoors. Who do you think carved this enigmatic mountain face, and what could its changing expression signify? Perhaps it's a hidden message from Mother Nature herself. Nature has its way of surprising us, doesn't it?
While you share your thoughts on that, prepare your mind for an unsettling clip from Peru. The homeowner it belongs to was left in shock when he stumbled upon it. The clip shows his backyard, which was fenced off from a wooded area. It looked normal and ordinary until something came crawling out of the woods. It was a creature unlike any he'd ever seen. Its skin had a pinkish hue, almost human-like, but its overall appearance was far from normal. It also had small, glowing eyes that pierced through the darkness, and its face was contorted in a snarl, revealing sharp, razor-like teeth. You could even see its tongue slithering in and out of its mouth like some kind of serpent. The creature moved close to the fence and appeared to be peering in at the house as if hunting for something or someone. Despite its menacing look, the creature never tried to enter the house. Instead, it lurked behind the bushes, watching, and the footage ended without further incident. Understandably, the homeowner was terrified after witnessing this, so much so that he decided to move away from the property entirely. Now, the big question remains, what exactly was that creature? We have our theories, but this time we're interested in hearing yours. Next up, we've got this bizarre security footage. A woman was sitting in a shop when the door suddenly opened. She quickly turned her head to look at the door, then slightly bowed her head in what seemed like a greeting. She even opened another door as if allowing someone inside. But here's the thing, there was no one there. She then proceeds to walk to one of the cupboards, speaking about a product to what appears to be no one. This strange exchange carries on for a while until two others come in inside the shop, watching her intently, clearly puzzled by who she's talking to. When one of them touches her, she suddenly falls down. They had been observing her on the security camera, and from the looks of it, she was talking into the air, so they came to check up on her, and that happened. Creepy, right? What do you think might have been going on here? Could it have been a ghost customer?
So yeah, look. I promise, I believe that me and my kids jumped a timeline. Cause look, y'all, I know y'all wondering why I'm laying in a hospital bed wearing the snake brace, right? So look.
A female artist known on TikTok as Big as Diamond shared an extraordinary story that has left her followers intrigued and unsettled. According to her, she believes she may have gone through some sort of portal which resulted in a car accident and left her in a hospital bed with a neck brace. It all began when she made a routine trip to Walmart and was driving home with the kids in the car. Retracing the same route she always took, she briefly glanced at her phone. When she looked back up, something was off. She was no longer on her usual path. The surroundings were unfamiliar, and even the children begged to ask where they were. Confused, she checked her GPS, which oddly indicated that their home was now 30 minutes away. In a disoriented state, she made a U-turn and came to a stop to make a left turn. Then, out of nowhere, another car slammed into the back of hers. What's peculiar is that both she and the other driver claim they didn't see each other before the collision. According to Big as Diamond, it was as if she appeared out of thin air. Now she's grappling with the possibility that she might have time jumped or passed through a portal into another dimension. What do you think?
I came through a portal or something. Either I came through a portal or they came through the portal behind me and didn't realize because they did not even see me until they actually impacted my car, y'all. And I was sitting there when they slammed in the back of my car, y'all. I promise y'all. So
yo, look, it's not even moving. There's a ghost in there, St. Paul's Hospital.
Next, we've got this clip from St. Paul's Hospital. This clip was recorded by a man who'd noticed something strange from afar. Unsure of what it was, he took out his phone, just in case something interesting happened. After a few seconds of watching the area, it became evident that not all was well. The individual filming got a tad curious and asked locals what was wrong or who or what the individual in the window might be, and he was told to stay away. That's an unusual response, but it turns out those who lived there have come to accept that whatever he was looking at was a ghost due to the air of mystery around its appearance at night at the same spot. Interesting, huh?
Not yet, anyway. Yo, look, it's not even moving. There's a ghost in there, St. Paul's Hospital.
A resident was on his way home when he noticed something strange coming from one of their neighbors' houses. A single room light was flickering on and off. Intrigued, they slowed down and filmed the eerie sight. When this footage was shown to Julius, he shrugged it off, suggesting it was likely just an electrical fault. But Aaron has a different take, believing it wasn't a simple malfunction but rather a sign of paranormal activity. What do you think? Could this just be a coincidence, or is there something more supernatural going on in that flickering room? Some Chinese researchers used a super radar with an impressive range of about 5,900 miles to examine the pyramids of Giza, and what they discovered was truly unexpected. They detected plasma bubbles. Yes, you heard that right. These mysterious bubbles, which are usually associated with atmospheric phenomena, are intriguing to say the least. The discovery has raised questions about the possible interactions between the ancient structures and natural or even unknown forces. What could this mean? Could the pyramids of Giza be linked to atmospheric anomalies, or is there something else going on that we have yet to understand? If you love kayaking, then this clip is for you. Yeah, that's one big boy. I'm not sure how anyone could escape from this thing when it's at full speed and hungry and angry. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. Most people see alligators and don't realize how big crocs can get. The last thing any of us here should be doing is getting into a river with a croc in it. As scary as this guy is, he's not the largest we've seen. But be safe and careful out there, okay?
Yeah? And some kind of desiccated, grayish-brownish skin. The eyes appear to have had very shallow eye sockets, and it was examined via X-rays in a laboratory in Cusco, Peru, and that is where they were able to find out that there are sinuses inside, and again, there are shallow eye sockets.
What you are looking at is believed to be the head of an alien. This peculiar artifact was discovered in Nazca, Peru, a region known for its enigmatic history and archaeological wonders. The head is remarkably small, elongated, and roughly the size of a potato. Its unique features include very shallow circles thought to represent eye sockets and skin that is extremely dry and brownish in appearance, likely due to extensive desiccation over time. When experts examined the head, they discovered the presence of sinuses within it, a characteristic that adds to the mystery. Whether this artifact represents an unknown species, a clever hoax, or something else entirely remains a topic of speculation and debate.
And some kind of desiccated, grayish-brownish skin. The eyes appear to have had very shallow eye sockets, and it was examined via X-rays in a laboratory in Cusco, Peru, and that is where they were able to find out that there are sinuses inside, and again, there are shallow eye sockets.
Ever wondered what a kidney stone looks like and how doctors treat it? No? Well, let's dive into it. Kidney stones are hard deposits of minerals and salts that can form inside your kidneys. They vary in size from a grain of sand to, in rare cases, something as large as a golf ball. When a stone forms and becomes lodged in the urinary tract, it can cause severe pain, often described as one of the most intense experiences a person can have. To treat this, doctors use a procedure known as lithotripsy or stone punch. It involves inserting a small device into the kidney. This device comes with a tiny camera, which allows the doctor to see exactly where the stone is located. Once in position, the machine delivers high-energy sound waves or lasers to break the stone into smaller pieces. These fragments can then pass through the urinary tract more easily, reducing the need for surgery. The process is highly effective, and while it may sound uncomfortable, it's much less invasive than traditional surgery. Not many people believe in ghosts or paranormal activity, but this video might have even the biggest skeptics talking. A woman was sitting quietly when she felt an odd sensation on her left hand. It was almost as though someone was gently touching her fingers. If she was with loved ones, it would have been reassuring, but she was completely alone at the time. Curious and a bit unsettled, she pulled out her phone to record what was happening, and this is what she captured. Her ring, sitting on her finger, began to slowly rotate on its own. Just look at that. Weird, right? There's no world where this is normal and natural. It got many folks in the paranormal community talking. Some believed it was genuine. There were also some who thought it had to be fake. Some thought the clip had to be doctored. Whereas others assumed she was using a trick, say a magnet to turn the ring. You've seen the clip too, so what do you think is going on here? A man decided to go hiking alone in the woods, wanting to enjoy some peace and quiet while surrounded by nature. So he took his camera and strolled through the dense forest, capturing the beauty of the towering trees, the sunlight filtering through the leaves, and the serene atmosphere around him. But as he continued walking, something unusual happened. His camera accidentally caught something ahead of him, something strange. It was a dark figure, massive in size, standing among the trees. The creature had incredibly wide shoulders and walked on two legs, clearly bipedal. However, that's all anyone could make out. Its entire form was dark, almost as if it were a shadow. The way it blended into its surroundings was unsettling, making it difficult to tell if it was an animal, a person, or something else entirely. What do you think this could be?
But see, they go low too, Vic.
They do. But they're flying though, that's the only thing I don't.
At the end of November 2024, Arizona experienced a surge in UFO sightings. Many people took to social media to share this footage of these mysterious events. Take a look at this first clip. A couple recorded several strange lights in the night sky. These aren't street lights, they're hovering lights, about 3 or more of them glowing steadily in the dark. In another video from the same area, a man captured footage of similar lights, but this time they were flickering. Just look at that, they're pulsating in a rhythmic, almost like they're signaling something. Then there's the third clip. This one is different. A man standing in the driveway filmed 2 distinct crafts in the sky. It was dark, so the crafts themselves couldn't be clearly seen, but their lights were unmistakable. The lights even hinted at a circular or disc-like shape. So what could be going on in Arizona with these surges in UFO sightings?
Is that a sauce?
Baby, I'm recording it all.
There's no way that's a I'm gonna call my brother.
Thank you?
That shit is huge.
Yeah, it is huge. What's really long? It's stupid aliens.
Next up, we've got a clip recorded by a homeowner who was cleaning out her property. It was a cleaning like every other until she stumbled upon an old horse saddle in the barn left behind by the previous owners. Wanting to get rid of it, she decided to burn the saddle, but if we are featuring it, something eerie happened. As the saddle burned, a white smoke emerged, moving gracefully in front of the fire. What made this smoke unusual was how it took on the shape of a horse galloping, and from the background, the unmistakable sound of hooves echoed through the air. The homeowner believes she may have freed the spirit of a horse long trapped in the saddle, as it appeared to move and gallop away. Before you come at me, I know how that sounds, but think about it. What if, just what if, Before we move on to the next clip, I saw a comment under the original post that had me laughing. Take a look. Tell me you get the reference. But something else about it sparked curiosity and a bit of unease. One commenter made a rather chilling observation that's hard to shake off. He suggested that the supposed fossilized tree actually resembles a femur, the thigh bone of some unimaginably large creature. The funny thing is, once you take a closer look at the structure, it's hard to unsee the bone-like qualities. The proportions, shape, and surface texture all seem to echo something much more than a tree. Well, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but what about your thoughts on this eerie find?
My flag was just doing some crazy stuff. Right here. Look what my flag's doing. That's my flag.
A woman came home one day and noticed that her flag looked a little weird. After lots of investigations, which in this case involved a lot of looking around, the woman concluded that there was no way that was her flag. To her, it looked like a cryptid or some sort of paranormal being or beast had taken over that part of the house. She shared the clip online to get inputs, and surely enough, many individuals thought she'd encountered a cryptid and not known it. The community is still divided on what creature or beast she could have encountered and if the whole thing is real or not. While they work to determine that, I'd want to hit your thoughts. What do you guys think we're dealing with here?
My flag was just doing some crazy stuff. Right here. Look what my flag's doing. That's my flag.
I entered this year with an open mind expecting anything, but if anyone told me that the American CIA was going to confirm the existence of the Ark of the Covenant, I would have laughed till tears rolled down my cheeks. Somehow, however, that seems to be the case. Declassified documents of the CIA point to the existence of the Ark of the Covenant. The declassified documents go a step further to describe the physical attributes of the Ark. If it was nothing and did not exist, I doubt the CIA would invest time or resources into it. I did some digging around and found out that in the 1980s, the US government investigated the legendary Ark of the Covenant through a classified project known as Project Sunstreak. The project aimed to explore the use of psychic abilities for gathering intelligence, including remote viewing, the alleged ability to gain information about distant locations without direct interaction. A key session in 1988 focused on the Ark, with a psychic task to describe its location and appearance. According to declassified documents, the psychic described the Ark as a wooden and gold container hidden in a dark, wet underground location near mosque domes in the Middle East. The session also noted the Ark's protective powers, suggesting that those who tried to open it without permission would face mysterious, fatal consequences. Despite the declassified information in circulation right now, the Ark's true existence and location remain elusive. Some have stated that the only reason the US has been involved in the Middle East conflicts has been to find and take the Ark for themselves. While that's not something beyond the CIA to do, it's purely speculative at this point. Some may believe the US already has the Ark, but maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. But what do you guys make of this? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
Share this with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.